Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. We are talking Jurrien Timber. Arsenal have sent in their initial offer for £30 million for Jurrien Timber. Ajax think that is not enough, but we're going to be diving into the reasons why Arsenal have gone with such a very interesting profile of a defender. He's the main priority at centre-back, as well as Mohamed Simakan and Tyrick Mitchell as well. We're going to be diving into much of that in this video. Arsenal making moves on the market. Arsenal already trying to get our deals done in this June. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to subscribe to the podcast as well. Do we need another right centre back? Do we need another one with Benjamin White already in the team, with William Saliba already in the team as well? Do we need one that can give us what John Stones has been giving to Manchester City, an inverted right back in Julian Timber? Arsenal are making their progress on that one. We're going to be doing much of that. We're going to be talking about centre backs in this video, much of what we expect to see in our defensive shape last campaign. Now, last season, in the last three games of the campaign, Thomas Partey played at right back, and I know most of you actually did notice that. It seems that we are looking for a new system. We are trying to play a new system where our fullback is also going to be inverted, and our left back is also going to be inverted. So we are going to have two inverted fullbacks, like John Stones has been inverting for Manchester City this campaign. We might see Julian Timber inverting into midfield and Alexander Zinchenko inverting into midfield as well. Well, where does that leave us defensively? Maybe there will be questions asked, but at the moment, Mikel Arteta seems like that is the road he is heading for. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Thoughts, opinions on a new centre back as well. Now, the story was broken by David Onstein from the Athletic, confirming that with an exclusive, Arsenal are working on a deal to sign Ajax defender Jurrien Timber. AFC made an opening offer worth 30 million to Ajax. Ajax want more than that. They want around 50 million, but optimism is of a compromise will be reached is very high in the air. Personal terms with the Netherlands international is not thought to be a problem, and we'll be talking about his personal terms later as well, but it says that won't be a very big problem. So that is from David Onstein breaking this story, and it has also been reproduced by the Telegraph, who have also confirmed today that Arsenal are hoping to sign Ajax defender Jurrien Timber in a move that would add further depth and versatility to their back four. Telegraph Sport understands that Timber has been on top of Arsenal's list of defensive targets for weeks now, with Mikel Arteta looking to recruit a player who can provide quality and competition as a right back and also a central defender as well. The 22-year-old is valued at around £50 million by Ajax. Arsenal hoping to secure a deal for at least a lower price than that for the player who has 2 years remaining on his deal. Timber is a Dutchman, is a Dutch international who previously attracted interest from Manchester United, and the Telegraph Sport understands that Arsenal are not the only top European club to have expressed interest in signing him this summer. A key part of Arsenal's squad planning for this window has been to add a player who can play as an inverted right back, a similar way to Alexander Zinchenko on the left flank. Timber, who's also known for his composure in possession, can also play as a centre-back and is regarded as having a superb passing range. At the end of the 2022-2023 campaign, with Zinchenko injured, Arteta experienced an inverted right back by playing Thomas Partey in that position. That is the story right from the Telegraph, and of course, as broken by David Onstein. Thank you so much, David Onstein. Thank you so much. This is such a huge development. It's a huge story. Now, let's get into it. One, we want a right back. And I've already said that we need a proper right back. I do not care if Mikel wants to play inverted right back, or he wants to play natural right back, or he wants to play wing back. I don't even care. We need someone better than Benjamin White in that position. That we need a player who can give us much more, right? I think Ben White's passing is not as good as Julian Timber's. And I also think that in terms of progressing forward, in terms of going into attack and playing in the final third, we'll be looking at some of the numbers of Jurrien Timber from FBref. He's such a very immaculate passer of the ball, but much of his work is actually coming in the final third. Actually, last campaign, he was averaging 90.5 touches per 90, more than any other player in the Dutch Eredivisie. Now, listen, they were not even the best side, Ajax. They finished third. I think PSV was second, Feyenoord were first. But they had the most passer of the ball. The previous campaign, it was Lisandro Martinez, and this campaign, it has been, it has been Julian Timber with 90.5 touches per 90. And, guess what? 48% of those touches have been coming in the final third, have been coming in midfield. So he's a player who's predominantly playing at right back or at right centre back, actually. But much of his work is being operationalized in midfield, in midfield. That is something that Mikel Arteta is looking to do. That is something that, Mikel Arteta really, really wants. But what are some of the details we know about this deal? Number one, according to Fabrizio Romano, we actually have him as our top priority for a centre-back and right-back. Now, we've talked about a few options as centre-back that Mikel Arteta is interested in. We've talked about McGahey. Sorry, in the introduction, I said Tarek Mitchell. It's McGahey. He's the player we are interested in. We talked about, Edmond Tapsoba as well and Mohamed Simakan. So it looks like we want that profile of a player who is definitely going to come and bring in a massive impact into the side, but then also has the ability to play, as a right back. Mohamed Simakan might not be the best example of an inverted fullback, an inverted right back, but if you played him at right back, if he plays at right back, he's such a very good player. Actually, if you go onto the transfer market website, you'll find that the number of games he's played at centre back is very, very closely, equal to the number of games he's played at right back. So he's been swapping between those roles very, very often. But Julian Timber, such an interesting talent, 22 years of age, just fits into that profile of players we're trying to sign, 22 and below, actually 25 and below. There is no player that Arsenal are trying to sign this summer that is above 25, apart from Ike Gundogan, of course, for free, right? But the rest of the names, Havertz, Timber, Tapsoba, Moussa Diaby, Declan Rice, all those players are 25 and below, and that is the strategy. It's not changing. So the facts are, passing terms won't be a problem. Arsenal did go in with their first offer around £30 million. That was rejected. Now, if I'm not really mistaken, Man United wanted to sign him last summer, and they had gone in with around 30 million initially. They did eventually up that bid to around 45 million, but the player decided to sign a new deal prior to the World Cup, following the advice of Louis Maria van Gaal. Because what Louis van Gaal said to Julian Timber is, Man United is such a very big step for you. It's such a very, very good club, but you're not going to be playing football. And if you want to play in my team, in the Netherlands, World Cup squad and World Cup starting 11, alongside Nathan Ake and Virgil van Dijk, you've got to play football. I've got to see you play every single day. And that's why he didn't actually join Manchester United. And United turned their focus to Lisandro Martinez, and now they're looking at Kim Min-jae and probably Axel Dizazi. So at the moment, Ajax won't actually accept 30 million. That's never going to happen. Arsenal will have to up their bid to around 45 million pounds. Is it worth it? In my opinion, I'm not really going to say he is worth it, because I've not seen him play so much. He's played in a back three with Netherlands, with Virgil van Dijk at the heart of that defense, and also and of course Nathan Ake on the left-hand side. I think he's such a very interesting prospect, such a very interesting player. And you look at the attributes that we're trying to sign him for, they're the real attributes that Mikel Arteta is looking for. They're the real attributes that Mikel Arteta was trying to find in Thomas Partey while he was trying to place him at right back. Composure, passing range, and an ability to receive the ball in tight spaces, and also the ability to receive the ball in deeper areas of the pitch and progress it. That is what we are looking for. Now, if I was to compare him to Benjamin White at the moment, he's much better and he will provide much more than Benjamin White will ever provide in his career at a team like Arsenal. I think Ben, for 50 million, that was an absolute steal. That was a really, really an absolute steal. But I think it's one of those players that are always going to be happy, one, to be at a club like Arsenal, just like America Laporte is at Manchester City. He will be there. He will wait for his chances. And, when they come, I think he will take them. I don't think Ben White is a bad player at all. I just don't think he's better than Saliba. I don't think he's better than Gabriel. And I also definitely don't think he's better than Jurrien Timber. So we know now where this is going to go. It's going to be Jurrien Timber at right back, William Saliba at right centre back, Gabriel Magalhaes, of course, is the boss there at left centre back, and Alexander Zinchenko at inverted left full back. Right. That also means that Arsenal can play a back three occasionally with Alexander Zinchenko dropping into midfield, and Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel, stretching into a back three. There are so many advantages to this move. There are very, very many advantages to this move, and I'll talk about Simakan in a minute. But why I like Timber and why I like the idea of Timber being in our squad and in our starting 11, I want you to remember the game where we played Manchester City in the first leg. Takero Tomiyasu down the right hand side, the way he gifted Kevin De Bruyne an easy goal, a very, very easy goal. Like, that should not happen. I mean, you either put that ball out of play or you've got the ability to muscle Kevin De Bruyne or Erling Haaland, you muscle them out. So for me, I think that's where Julian Timber would actually, succeed a lot. But apart from that, I also think that all our, I think our entire centre back, positions are filled with mediocre players apart from William Saliba. I think Ben White is not the greatest of fullbacks. I think Gabriel is not the greatest of fullbacks. They can do well, they will do well, but they're not that, they're not that real big centre back, right? They're not that real big player. And I won't be surprised at some point in time if Mikel Arteta eventually plays Julian Timber and William Saliba at some point in time at centre back, because both of them do have something that, can complement each other. I think Saliba has the pace. Timber has the composure. Saliba's got that, aerial ability, tall, huge as a centre back, and then Timber can also is that guy that can, clear and receive the ball, in tight spaces, and do all the other groundwork. So Timber for me is such a very good deal. It might not happen quickly. It's one where we're going to have a lot of competition. I think Man United will be back. If Man United now, this kind of an alert that Timber is for sale, that is one. And two, they now know how much it's going to cost. If they miss out on Kim Min-jae, if he goes to Bayern for around maybe 45, maybe 50 million, they'll be looking to sign Julian Timber. He's worked with Erik Ten Hag, and that's why Arsenal need to work very quickly on this deal. A player who has worked with Erik Ten Hag, a player who knows Erik Ten Hag, will definitely want to reunite with his former manager than going to Arsenal. Of course, I understand. At Arsenal, there is a clear role, but at Manchester United, there is even a clearer role, because listen, I think Rafa Varane's injuries guarantee Julian Timber a starting position in that team. But then also, I don't think Aaron Van Bissaka is better than Julian Timber. Like, we've got to be honest. Nowhere near, right? Absolutely nowhere near. But this one is going to be an interesting one, very, very interesting one, because like we've heard from the Telegraph, Arsenal are not the only top European club interested in signing Julian. There's so many other clubs out there interested in signing the 22-year-old Dutch international. And if it was a lot of competition for Lisandro Martinez, it will be a lot of competition for Julian Timber. Can Arsenal beat the competition? I really, really think we can, and I think we will do, but let's wait and see how that's going to evolve. Now, in terms of the other options, Fabrizio says that he is on top of the list, but he's not the only player Arsenal looking at. They're also looking at Simakan or Mohamed Simakan at RB Leipzig. He's a player we've talked about on this channel for quite some time in the past 7 days. He's quite impressive the way he juggles through centre back and right back. Actually, with Simakan, you have an overlapping right back when he plays at right back, and you have a concentrated fullback when he plays at centre back. So I think what we would get with signing Simakan is we would get more like a Trent Alexander-Arnold player, right? That kind of guy, of course, with more defensive abilities, I should say that. But that kind of player that can bombard forward and create amounts of chances. That's why I wanted Ivan Fresneda. That is why I wanted Timothy Castagna, because I know they're proper fullbacks, they're natural fullbacks. They will come forward, they will feel that urge to come forward and create chances. But it looks like our budget is a little bit limited and constrained. That's why we want to play it safe. One player for two positions. Jurrien Timber is one of the best in the game. I think there are others as well. Like, I won't say if we don't get him, this is the worst in the world. No, not really. But the fact that we're moving closely, the fact that we're moving this fast, bids are already. We have now bid for 3 players. Of course, all our bids have been rejected, which is the bad thing. But it means that we are making our mark on the transfer market, right? Havertz, Rice, and now Julian Timber. And I tell you what, I think Mikel Arteta's just got a very, very, big shortlist. And it's thought, Eddie, look here. Timber, Rice, Kai Havertz, Moussa Diaby, Romeo Lavia, or Caicedo. And, I think what Eddie's trying to do right now is going on in the transfer market, ticking. Timber, doable. Rice, expensive but doable. Kai Havertz, stubborn negotiations, but the deal will happen. Caicedo, that will not happen. I'm pulling out. Romeo Lavia, easy deal. If there is no much competition, we can do that one as well. Moussa Diaby, one that can be done later. I think that is what we are doing, because it would seem silly for us to be jumping from one player to another, but it seems that there is a degree of confidence that we will get all these deals done. Imagine 6 more signings for Arsenal. We compete with Manchester City. I mean, look, the additions that we're trying to make just make a lot of sense in terms of squad depth and also extra quality. We'll talk much about Timber in the next video as we get more details on that deal.